fun with fractions. Let's simplify the fraction 71 over 250. Okay, we're done. Fun with fractions.
Race 74, let's go.
Race 74! And now it's time for a lovely game of fun with fractions. 74 over 250 simplifies to 37 over 125. Yes, and now it's time for another exciting game of fun with fractions. 75 over 250 simplifies dramatically to 3 over 10.
30% of the way through.
We are 30% of the way through! And now it's time for another game of fun with fractions. 84 over 250 simplifies to 42 over 125. Thank you for fun with fractions with Chadderz. And now it's time for another wonderful game of fun with fractions. 88 over 250 simplifies to 44 over 125.
Like most things simplify to something over, well, most even numbers simplify to something over 125, indeed.
Thank you, Chadderz, for that epic game of fun with fractions. Find out what the fraction will simplify next time. And now it's time for another exciting game of fun with fractions with Chadderz, your host. Hello, I'm Chadderz, and today on Fun with Fractions we're going to learn that 90 over 250 simplifies to 9 over 25. I've been your host Chadderz, and this has been Fun with Fractions.
94.
And welcome to race 94. And you know what that means. It's time for another exciting round of Fun with Fractions. Hello everyone, welcome to Fun with Fractions, I'm your host Chadderz. 94 over 250 simplifies to 47 over 125.
No. Okay.
And that's been Fun with Fractions with Chadderz. What do you mean Fun with Fractions needs to be a thing? Fun with Fractions is a thing. It's the main sub-program of the 250 GP. We interrupt this broadcast, though, to bring you a very special episode of Fun with Fractions. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fun with Fractions. Chadderz here, bringing you a very special episode. 95 over 250 simplifies to 19 over 50.
Dun dun dun!
This has been Fun with Fractions, and I've been your host, Chadderz. It's been a pleasure. Good night, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this race to bring you a very special episode of Fun with Fractions! Hello everyone, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm your host Chadderz, and this is episode 100 of Fun with Fractions. Today we're going to learn that 100 over 250 simplifies to, I don't know, 4 over 5? No. 2 over 5. 2 over 5.
4 over 5, lol.
2 over 5!
We are 40% of the way there at the end of this race.
And that has been Fun with Fractions with Chadderz. And now it's time for another exciting episode of Fun with Fractions with Chadderz.
You're still doing this?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm your host, Chadderz. Today we're going to learn that 104 divided by 250 simplifies to 52 over 125.
Like most things in life. Like most
I've been your host, Chadderz, and this has been Fun with Fractions. And now we bring you another exciting episode of Fun with Fractions.
Ow.
Hello, this is Fun with Fractions. I'm Chadderz. 105 divided by 250 simplifies to 21 over 50.
Oh crap.
This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. And it's time for another exciting game of Fun with Fractions.
Oh, I wonder what it's going to be.
Hello, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm your host Chadderz. 108 over 250 simplifies to 54 over 125. This has been Fun with Fractions, and I've been your host Chadderz.
I should have done a 249 track GP, it would have been more interesting.
And now it's time for a very special episode of Fun with Fractions! Hello, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm your host, Chadderz. 110 over 250 simplifies to 11 over 25. This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. 115. You know what that means. It's time for another exciting episode of Fun with Fractions. Hello, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm your host, Chadderz. 115 over 250 simplifies to 23 over 50. This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. That's all we've got time for. Good night. We interrupt this race on lap 2 to bring you a special bulletin of Fun with Fractions with your host, Chadderz.
Where were you? You're late.
Not too late. So, 118 over 250 simplifies to 59 over 125. This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz.
A tough guy.
Oh, someone published the script on the internet. Dude, I can't believe it.
As we enter race 120.
120! And you know what that means. It's time for an episode of Fun with Fractions! Hello, welcome to tonight's episode of Fun with Fractions. Today's fraction, 120 over 250, simplifies to 12 over 25. This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. Good night.
Let's see if we can keep this early and late that I've managed to get there.
Race 125! And now it's time for a very special episode of Fun with Fractions! Welcome to Fun with Fractions, episode 125. I'm your host, Chadderz, and today I'm bringing you a very special fraction. Today's fraction is 125 over 250. You might initially think that this simplifies, quite simply, to 25 over 50. But...
and it does, however, it can simplify
our fraction input experts tell us this is not the rock bottom. In fact, 25 over 50 simplifies to 5 over 10. And you might think, my goodness, what a fraction. Surely it can't get any better than that. But no! Our fractionologists tell us that today's fraction simplifies all the way to 1/2! This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. 125 over 250 is 1/2.
I wasn't meant to hit.
But now, you've all missed it. It's time for another exciting episode of Fun with Fractions! Hello, it's Fun with Fractions. Good morning, I'm your host, Chadderz. In today's episode, we're going to learn that 204 over 250 simplifies to 102 over 125. This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. Do you know what is exciting about that last race?
The fact that he landed on the bouncy bouncy.
That we've still got just enough time for another exciting episode.
Road next, and then 4, and then
of Fun with Fractions.
Considering my roads.
Where's Brandon?
Oh no, it's soft with the vanilla lakes.
yes, we get to do 2 Snes Rainbow Roads and then 2 Vanilla Lakes.
On today's episode of Fun with Fractions, 215 over 250 simplifies to 43 over 50. This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. And now it's time for race 220, but before that, an episode of Fun with Fractions! Welcome to Fun with Fractions, I'm Chadderz. 220 over 250 simplifies to 22 over 25. This has been Fun with Fractions, I've been Chadderz. Race number 225, people!
That's officially 90%.
There we go.
And you know what that means? It's time for an exciting game of Fun with Fractions! Hello, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm Chadderz. 225 over 250 simplifies to 9 over 10! This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. It's so exciting because this is race 230. And you know what that means? It's time for another exciting episode of Fun with Fractions. Hello, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm your host, Chadderz. 230 over 250 simplifies to 23 over 25. This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. That's all we've got time for. Good night. Race number 235, and you know what that means? It's time for another exciting episode of Fun with Fractions!
Way too much.
Hello, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm your host, Chadderz. Today we're going to be simplifying 235 over 250. That simplifies to 47 over 50. This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz, and that's all we've got time for. Good night. Anyway, it's time, of course, for another exciting episode of Fun with Fractions!
It's a multiple attack, it's so easy to...
I'm playing this somewhat competently.
Shut up, Steven.
Hello everyone, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm your host, Chadderz. Today we're going to be simplifying 240 over 250.
24 out of 25, okay.
And that simplifies to 24 over 25. Well, that's all we've got time for today. Stay tuned for another episode of Fun with
Wow, that
Fractions.
hit!
I've been your host, Chadderz. Good night.
I like how me making the glitch did nothing, so I'm still in third now.
I'm gonna try
Race number 244, and you know what that means? It's time for another exciting episode of Fun with Fractions. Hello, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm Chadderz. Today we're going to be simplifying 244 over 250, and that simplifies to 122 over 125. Well, that's all we've got time for. Stay tuned. Goodbye.
Do stay tuned.
Race 245, you know what that
We'll show this
means?
to people who know nothing about math, and we'll see if they learn.
It's time for another exciting episode of Fun with Fractions. Hello, welcome to Fun with Fractions. Today we're going to be simplifying 245 over 250, and that simplifies to 49 over 50. Well, that's all we've got time for. This has been Fun with Fractions. I've been Chadderz. Good night.
What happened to the red shell? Race 248, Rima Wii.
248, and it's time for the penultimate episode of Fun with Fractions. Hello, welcome to Fun with Fractions. I'm your host, Chadderz, and today is the penultimate episode. We're going to be simplifying 248 over 250, and that simplifies to 124 over 125. Well, that's all we've got time for. This has been Fun with Fractions, and I've been Chadderz. Good night.
Anyway.
That was a bad
That's
throw, I
true.
can kick everyone.
There it is, at the long top.
Race number 250. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, strap yourself in. This is the final race.
We're doing it!
It really is happening. This is the final race, and you know what that means? It's time for the final episode of Fun with Fractions.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see what happens.
Hello, welcome to the final episode of Fun with Fractions. Today we're going to be simplifying 250 over 250. Well,
Dear God, Stunky,
250 over 250 simplifies to 125 over 125, but it didn't stop there. No, no, no. We consulted our fractionologist a bit further, and they told us that actually further simplifies to 25 over 25. And just when you thought
Oh my goodness.
that
Wow.
wasn't
This is
low
amazing.
enough,
back.
we found it could go even lower. It in fact simplifies to 5 over 5, but just when you thought that
What?
5 over 5
Wasn't enough.
was the optimal fraction, it actually
never did.
simplifies to 1 over 1, or simply 1.
This is the entire room.
So this is a heartfelt farewell from Fun with Fractions. This is the end. I've been your host, Chadderz. It has been an
We've
honour
made it.
and a privilege.
Chadderz, you blew my mind just
Good
then.
night.